And today's guest believes that Tolkien's book may have been a warning to people about the coming of artificial intelligence as a sort of revolution, but we don't need to despair because there's immense hope. So joining us now is the author of this book, Paul Least, the author of Mount Doom, The Prophecy of Tolkien Revealed. Paul, great to have you with us. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's great to have you. And could you kind of set the scene for us? Why was Tolkien recruited in 1939 by the British government? Because I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, it is. Well, he was probably the world's leading philologist, the science of languages, and before Hitler crossed the channel and expanded his war front into England, they decided they knew he was coming, obviously, so they decided they better try to conquer his communications machine, which was the Enigma machine. So they recruited 50 intellectuals, dons from Oxford and et cetera, to man a code cracking team called Government Code and Cipher School. And it's not widely known, but Tolkien trained there for 3 days for the father of the of artificial intelligence, the father of the digital computer, really, and another process called morphogenesis, which is really critical. Alan Turing. Alan Turing was on staff there, brilliant mathematician, but had some issues. And Tolkien was offered a great job there, but he would realize very early that this wasn't about language. It was just deciphering a cipher and machinery and cracking the machine itself. And also he realized that all they were really going to do was just create a more powerful machine than the ones the Nazis were using. He was a big skeptic of machinery. So he got out and went back to really writing the sequel to The Hobbit, which is The Lord of the Rings. And that really, he perfected that over until the publication in 1954. I hesitate to use a commonly used word called evolve because it's so overused and misunderstood, but he perfected it. So when it came out, and then he went back and totally reworked the history called The Silmarillion, which was published posthumously by his son Christopher after his father's death.
Oh, wow. Wow. And we know that, as you were just starting to say, that right after his short time with the government, Tolkien went on to write The Lord of the Rings. So when you read that book, what made you think Tolkien clearly sees the artificial intelligence is coming and many human tasks will eventually be replaced by robots? I'd love to hear your take.
Well, you don't see anything really clearly with a modern education, with a Cartesian. It's so steeped in the Enlightenment. I gave myself a scholastic education, and obviously that takes a while. So when the real light bulb moment for me was when I first read Pope Leo XIII's Aeterni Patris, wonderful encyclical, calling the Western world out of the errors of the Enlightenment, calling them back to Thomas Aquinas. And that really opened my eyes. And so I turned my vision because I just felt like this is so Tolkienian in its epic nature. And lo and behold, I was spot on. So that's what really put me in that direction. And then everything, I've read all of I think the most important works in a lot of areas, but also Alan Turing's papers. And I saw clearly that Tolkien did too. And he used prominent elements from all three of these very important papers, with 1936, uncomputable numbers with an application themes guidance problem, where he virtually invents the digital computer on paper. And then 1950, the computing machinery and intelligence, where he redefines intelligence and really gets the idea of artificial intelligence right out front and center. And then 1952, the chemical basis of morphogenesis, which is just for the sake of simplicity, but it's not really accurate. It's kind of a spin-off on embryology, and those mathematics now from 1952 are being used by modern computer science for the computer artificial intelligence to develop its own brain, quote unquote, its neural network. So these are really important ideas, and Tolkien wove all of these prominent ideas into his mythology, finally to bring Sauron, the great idol, he's idolatry, into the most dangerous and most potent idol of all, artificial intelligence, a machine that we've made in the image of ourselves that'll make us worship it.
Well, this is amazing. I really loved the books and also loved the movies too. But in his mythology then, so what did Tolkien believe was the greatest threat to humanity?
Idolatry. And
Idolatry.
really, idolatry and honestly, the sinking power and influence of the church, true Catholic Church, not no longer really pointed in the direction of the city of God, but being pointed in the direction of earthly city, referring to St. Augustine. We need a strong church. Most of the old saying, as the church goes, so goes the world. It's so true. And Tolkien saw that coming too. He was a very devout Catholic. And the white tree of Gondor that can't be tended and whatnot, I'll just put it right out there. It is the TLM.
And why do you think that Tolkien chose to convey this in a novel versus a non-fiction book?
Because it had to be protected. He lived in England at the time. Anti-Catholicism was just really hard. His mother died for the faith. She had discovered the faith, and she couldn't get any support and help to raise the two young boys. She was widowed, and she wouldn't get any support from either side of the family until she returned to Protestantism. And she said no, and she died of a very treatable form of diabetes. It was basically malnutrition. And left her sons Hilary and John, J.R.R. in the guardianship of Father Francis Morgan, who happened to be the personal secretary to John Henry Newman for 25 years. So he had a deep scholastic education. He was deeply Catholic, and he could see all this coming. And then with his experience in the government code and cipher school with Alan Turing, that really opened up his eyes to what was going to happen. And prophecy doesn't take all the time God's voice coming down, telling you what's going to happen. A lot of times it's just good common sense and being able to make connections, seeing where things are going to lead.
Well, Paul, I see activity going on over at the news desk. So I just got one last question for you. And that is, where can people get a copy of the book? And why should they read it, even if they haven't read Tolkien himself?
Well, they should read it because there's a world of history in there about the Enlightenment and about the origins of true philosophy and how we got away from metaphysics and how the new scientific method came about with the Enlightenment with Francis Bacon and Descartes. And people really need to understand this. And there's perennial ideas there that I don't think we can do, and it harms us when we go without those things. We see all the problems in the world going on right now, and it's largely because we've been so miseducated.
Gotcha. Well, we'll be giving away a copy of Paul's book. Just email us at thisistheday@catholictv.org. We'll pick an email in random, and you could be the winner of the very book I'm holding in my hands, Mount Doom. Hey, Paul, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today, and we hope the book does really well. Can't wait to read it myself.
Thank you. Very good. God bless you both.
All right, God bless you too.
Thank you.